Good evening. I'm Kevin Jones from Democratic Services at Kingston. I serve this committee. The first item of business tonight is the election of the chair for the 25-26 year. Councillor Grocott and Councillors Grocott and Councillor Afilaka have decided not to stand for re-election, and I have a nomination for Councillor Dunstan as chair and Councillor Griseldis Kirsch as vice chair. Can I have a proposer, please, for these two? Councillor Grocott. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Ansari. Thank you. Is that unanimous? Thank you. Congratulations, Councillor Dunstan. Councillor Kirsch, Councillor Dunstan, you're in the chair.
Thank you, Kevin. Good evening and welcome to this evening's meeting of the South of the Borough Neighbourhood Committee at Chessington Model Adventures. It's a lovely boardroom, meeting room here, so thank you very much. A particular warm welcome to those members of the public with us tonight and to those watching online. My name is Councillor Lorraine Dunstan and I'm the newly elected chair of this committee. Bit of housekeeping. In the event of emergency, the emergency evacuation procedure is to leave by one of the fire exits and gather in the car park alongside the building. Anyone requiring assistance should remain in their seats and an officer will assist you from the building. Anyone who wishes to follow the agenda from their tablet or smartphone can do so now by going to www.kingston.gov.uk and follow the links from your council on the homepage, then council meeting calendar, and you'll find this meeting on today's date in the calendar. There is free public Wi-Fi here for anyone wishing to follow the agenda on the council website, and that's on the CWOA-Wi-Fi link. You should be able to, it's an open Wi-Fi. This meeting is being filmed for broadcast on the Council's YouTube channel, and an archived version will be available to view on the channel shortly after the meeting finishes. The broadcast will be suspended during any adjournments in proceedings and if the committee resolves to consider information as exempt business. Members are reminded that microphones must be switched on and spoken into clearly for the broadcast. The microphone for the public speakers, just there on that desk, does not require switching on. Please, can everyone present in the meeting also ensure that their mobile phones are switched off or in silent mode for the duration of the meeting? And just one added thing, when you go to leave this evening, the arm in the car park should be open. However, we do have some passes here if for any reason that hasn't been done. Firstly, I would like to say a big thank you to Councillor Grocott and Councillor Afilaka for their services as Chair and Vice Chair. You've done an amazing job over the last 3 years and we're really thankful for that, so really appreciate it. Thank you. I will start by inviting members to introduce themselves. If I start down with Councillor Grocott and work our way through.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Councillor Grocott and I'm Ward Councillor for King George's and Sunray Ward.
Good evening, Councillor Mark Bainan, also King George's and Sunray Ward.
Good evening, Councillor Andreas Kirsch, Chessington South and Morden Rushett.
Good evening, Councillor Griseldis Kirsch, Chessington South and Morden Rushett.
Once again, Councillor Lorraine Dunstone, and I'm a Ward Councillor for Hook and Chessington North Ward.
Good evening, I'm Sue Ansari, a councillor in Hook and Chessington, North Chessington. Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. We also have officers in attendance who will present reports, and I'll introduce them as the relevant agenda items come forward. So the next item on the agenda, item 2, is public questions. We have a period of no more than 30 minutes during which any resident of the borough or representative of organisations operating within the borough, other than members of the council, may ask questions on matters relevant to the committee. We like to encourage questions to be submitted in advance so officers have an opportunity to answer them, although that's not absolutely necessary. I would ask that you keep your questions as concise as possible, and if you need to preface the question with a statement, please be very brief and to the point. I see we have a first question is from Rob Parsley. Thank you. You'd like to take a seat. Thank you. Parsley, apologies.
Oh, don't worry. I've had to live with it a long time. Well, thank you, Chair, for the opportunity to address the committee. Regarding the Glendale verge cutting contract, I live in Moor Lane and we're very lucky to have grass verges, and for several months they've gone uncut, and I made several calls to the contractor, which seems unusual that a resident should have to contact a contractor. They, given their dues, they did come reasonably quickly, and then within not coming for several months, they came twice within a week. So we've gone from one extreme to the other. So my question was, what is the service level agreement in the grass cutting contract? Are they meant to attend every month, or is it a certain length? And what, if any, monitoring is in place by council officers and Glendale?
Thank you for your question, Mr. Parsley. So I've had an answer received from the corporate head, Active Kingston and Environment, who's asked me to read out the response.
Right, thank you.
Thank you for your questions regarding the maintenance of highway grass verges. We are aware that some areas within the neighbourhood have recently fallen behind schedule for grass cutting, and we apologise for any inconvenience this may have caused. Our Green Spaces Service Manager visited the area earlier this week to assess the situation firsthand. We're actively working to address the delays, and the cutting schedule is expected to be back on track by the end of the week, Friday the 13th. In regards to the specific questions about the contract, on the service level agreement, the contract sets out agreed service standards for grass cutting, designed to reflect seasonal growth patterns while prioritising both safety and visual appearance. Under these standards, the supplier is required to maintain a cutting schedule which ensures grass verges do not exceed a height of 90 millimetres. Performance monitoring. Performance is monitored through regular meetings between council officers and the contractor. These take place on a weekly, monthly and quarterly basis to ensure both day-to-day operations and strategic delivery remain on track. On-site joint inspections take place between RBK officers and Glendale on a monthly basis to record the quality of the completed works. Remedial action. Where contract standards are not met, formal rectification processes are in place. There are linked to key performance indicators or KPIs and set timescales which are actively monitored by the council to ensure timely resolution. We hope this provides reassurance that the service is being closely managed. That's the response.
Right. All I can respond is on my way in down here. I came down Ellingham, Bolton, Salmons Road. They're all over 9 centimetres, 90 mil. But perhaps it's something to feed back. So thank you for that answer. That's very useful. But something to feed back is, it just seems very ad hoc. In the old days, Continental, they seemed to blitz an area. You know, you knew they were in the area, they were going to complete the job. Now, Glendale seem to do little bits here and there. So, yeah, it just doesn't seem like there's a sort of a plan or a strategic sort of push. They just come and do little bits when they decide. So, yeah, thank you very much anyway.
Thank you for that feedback. We'll take that back as well, and we'll feed that back to them.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. We've received no further questions, so we'll move on to item 3, Neighbourhood Working Arrangements 2025. I believe that's the 2026. The next, you can find this on Appendix A. The purpose of the report is to enable the committee to determine arrangements for managing its business for the balance of the municipal term, i.e. the period to May 2026. The committee is asked to resolve that the planning subcommittee be I will now move the chair. Sorry, I'm out of practice. I will now move the chair the recommendations at the front of the report of page A1. The committee is asked to resolve that 1, the planning subcommittee be de-established for the 2025-26 municipal year. And 2, the number of formal meetings of the committee be reduced to 6 and other ways of engaging with the community be explored. So do I have a second for that? Thank you, Councillor Kirsch. I would like to propose an amendment on this one, and that's to delete item 2, so that it reads with just item 1. Could I have a seconder for that, please? Thank you, Councillor. Would members of the committee who wish to speak please raise your hand? Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Grocott.
Thank you, Chair. So just for a bit of context, this was something that I put forward in one of my last actions, because in the last 3 years we've only had 2 requirements when we've had to meet in the planning subcommittee, and it's a lot of effort to have these meetings in our diaries when there doesn't seem to be a massive need for them. So we'd rather have more meetings where members of the public can come and we can have meetings like this to look at issues relating to the local community than hold meetings that aren't regularly occurring in relation to planning. So I think the proposal is that any planning issues will come to this meeting.
That's correct. Thank you. Councillor Ansari.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, it just makes complete sense to me to lessen the meetings, to go down to 6, because it would be really good to talk about the planning when we're talking about all the other neighbourhood stuff. So I really, support this.
Thank you. Anyone else? Lovely. So so we will go ahead with the resolve that the planning subcommittee be de-established for the 25-26 municipal year. Can we agree that, everybody? Is that unanimous? Yes. Lovely. Thank you. So the amendment is agreed. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So we do have item 4 on the agenda, but as we've resolved to disestablish the planning subcommittee, we'll move on to item 5. Which is apologies for absence. Kevin, do we have any apologies for absence?
We have apologies from Councillor Efilaka and from Councillor Mirza.
Thank you, Kevin. Item 6, declarations of interest. Members are invited to declare any disclosable pecuniary interests or any other registrable or non-registrable interests relevant to the items on this agenda. Do any members have any interests they wish to declare? No, thank you very much, colleagues. So item 7, petitions. There's been no notice of any intention to submit a petition this evening. So item 8, minutes. Can members agree to confirm the minutes of the meeting held on the 25th of March 2025 as a correct record? Thank you. I'll sign those. Councillor Grocott probably signed those ones. No, you sign. Oh, I sign them. Okay, thank you. Item 8, community grants report. We move on to community grants report, which you can find at Appendix B on the agenda pack. The committee is asked to consider 2 applications this evening for neighbourhood community grants. I'm going to ask our neighbourhood manager, Richard Dean, to introduce the first applicant, Adrian's Thread Group, page B2 in the agenda. Richard.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, councillors. Right, despite appearances in me wearing a pair of glasses, I've actually got the wrong ones. So bear with me, I might read something completely different out. Right, so the first grant is, as you rightly said, it's an application for a neighbourhood community grant of £3,000. from Adrian's thread group set out in paragraphs 5 and 12 of the report. And I'm pleased to say that the applicant for that, Magdalena, is here to answer any questions. In brief, the Adrian's thread group CIC have submitted, as I say, this application for £3,000 to support further development of their Sow to Sow project in south of the borough. The aim of the CIC is to provide the benefits to adults and children with limited access to culture, heritage, arts and crafts, beg your pardon, particularly those displaced by conflict and with learning and communication difficulties, to get together in a place where they feel safe and they can develop their own skills. The Sow to Sow project is made up of seasonal workshops, and as a sort of heading suggests, really, it's about sowing seeds, cultivation of flax, and then the process of turning that flax into linen fibres. And there's workshops, limited workshops across 3 places in the borough, which are 3 places in the neighbourhood, which I'll let Magdalena talk about. The important thing is, if awarded the Neighbourhood Community Grant, the CIC would like to expand their current community programme within south of the borough to the benefit of our communities. And there's a couple of locations within the report, members, that you'll see: Baking Ideas, Sunray Community Centre and Nomead School, that are already partially involved in the project, and that's what's hoped to take forward. Members, we've got about 100 members of our community involved in this project at the moment, and it's obviously hoped that should this be supported in some way by the committee tonight, that will be expanded. The table included in the report shows the expenditure, and as you'll note, the total cost for the project is more than the £3,000 grant asked for. £1,000 gap on the running cost would be met by a donation from the Rotary Club, which I think I'm right in saying has already been received, and other internal CIC funding. Rather than me go on, Chair, because I'm struggling reading, it's probably better if you ask a few questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Okay. Thank you, Magdalena. Thank you very much for coming along this evening.
Yes, good evening. Thank you for having me.
Okay, I'll just, if you don't mind, I'll just do a couple of, before we start the debate, and they can ask,
please.
Members can ask more questions of you. So we can invite public comments before members of the committee commencing their discussion. So is there anybody that wished to ask any questions at all? Okay, lovely. So, okay, I will now move from the chair the following recommendation. Oh, did we do debate first? No, that's the debate. Right, okay, so I will move from the chair the following recommendation: that the application for £3,000 of Neighbourhood Community Grant funding from Adrian's Thread Group, as set out in paragraph 5 to 12 of the report, be approved. Do I have a seconder, please? Thank you. Thank you. Would members of the committee who wish to speak please raise your hand? Okay. Councillor Ansari, if you'd like to go ahead and ask a question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming and asking us about this. I fully support it. I've seen this kind of thing happening in Sweden, in Malmö, where my mother-in-law is. It's a refugee area, and came in with all these wonderful ideas. So, and it's almost exactly what they're doing over there. If they can do it in Sweden, they can do it here. And I'd just like to ask, the baking ideas, who came up with, using that premises for the flaxseed?
I came up with this idea.
Fantastic.
I mean, maybe not specifically flax, but that's exactly how I started using that for refugees.
Fantastic.
So I started that for the Ukrainian community 3 years ago. And we now have a full well-being week of activities. Brilliant. And this is exactly what Sow to Sow is to complement this week. We Baking Ideas, we still there every Monday, and it's our Mindful Mondays. So the flax is there as well, and the Sunray Centre that we're asking for the development would be called Fibre Fridays. So it's sort of just to sum it up. We not only do flax, but we want to encourage with that, actually, while the flax is growing, and I checked the plot yesterday, is blooming at the moment. We're actually going to do tomorrow nettles because they are right there. We actually said while they're growing,
Brilliant.
we're going to show how to do. So it's all about natural fibres and just connecting with the resources we've got, but also bringing people together and learning and sharing skills as well. So it's the heritage of us and people that already know about that.
Yeah.
And experts, because we have experts, but people know more than we actually know.
Yeah.
Some people remember these things, as you said, from the past.
Yeah.
We like to
Yeah.
hear people's stories. So that's why we invite the community to come and share it with us.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Grocott.
Thank you. Hi, Magdalena. Nice
Hello.
to see you. So can you just clarify simply for me, because I'm not clear, you already run a session from the Sunray Community Centre, or this funding
Yes.
is partly to start that?
Well, yes, it's actually to expand and continue and become a permanent feature, because we are not here just to do something short term. We want to be permanent, long term, and establish a sort of a relationship with the area. I've been working with the Normead School for the last 2-3 years, and very slowly we're actually bringing a variety of programs, because initially it was just textiles, but these new fibres actually growing our own threads and teaching how it's done, it's new. So yeah, the Sunray, we actually want to have a new meeting place where the community can rely on us and know where to find us and bring their own ideas to us. Mm-hmm. So this Friday, we just wanted to expand. Obviously, as you can see, we said it's a seasonal thing, so it's an ongoing thing. You start with the seed in the spring, then you harvest in autumn, then you weave in winter, and you come back and there's another spring. So it's an ongoing thing, and there are always new children that can learn each year, and we would like to be there next year again and the year after. And we always have new projects, so we have our own threads. Every year we're going to use that linen for something new. We already have a plan, very ambitious plan, what we're going to do with our linen next year. But this year we're already using our linen from last year, starter plots. It was a pilot scheme to try, but we have enough linen, which we're actually using for our Kingston 2025 project. Wonderful. So you will be able to see it in our exhibition in September, what we have achieved with our little starter plots last year.
May I ask 2 supplementaries?
Yes, please.
Thank you. So my second one is that some of the costing is for tools.
Yes.
Presumably, if you're already running, you have some of these tools already.
We have the very basic ones. So we were able to buy, with the Rotary that gave us a grant, we were able to obviously start the sewing and the gardening workshops and teach about obviously the initial process, but we have things like block printing, a little hoops for that. But the most ambitious ones are the looms, little looms and weaving tools, which is something that we are planning to do with these year's crops in autumn, between autumn and December. So this is the last part of this season, I guess.
So you have some, but you need more to carry on.
I mean, looms are the ones that really are most costly, and we can offer then a sort of more longer project. So we could have a group that can start something and complete an independent project. It's not just come and see a demonstration, actually participate, start something and finish. Okay. At the moment, we can only do a one-off workshop on a daily basis. We can't engage a group on some longer projects because we only have one loom to demonstrate.
Sure,
So
thank you. And then my last question is, where are you doing the seeding bit for the work at the Sunray Community Centre?
Where we're doing, where is the growing?
Yes.
So it's just, you actually specifically want to know where the plot is?
Yes.
So it's just behind where there used to be sheds. It was like a pile.
So it's on the allotment?
No, it's actually the part of the garden, the green part of the centre. So it's.
So it's part of the Sunray Community Centre grounds?
Yes.
Okay.
Actual grounds.
In the garden of the Sunray Community Centre?
So it's the open space.
Lovely.
I wish I could show you the beautiful blooms. So it's there was like a little pile, I would say, of rubbish left over where the new sheds are, and we just tidied it up, cleaned it. It's as you open the doors to go outside at the back into, I would say, overlooking the allotments. Let's put it that way. So it's the back area of the building, not the front overlooking the school, but it's the other side.
Sure. So it's not on the allotments and it's not
No, it's
Sunray
part of the
Community
centre.
CIC, it's part of the centre. I'm just thinking in terms of access, that was all.
No, you
Great.
can, as soon, when we do our workshops, we open the doors and you can see it.
Wonderful.
So you can see it from the inside to the outside. And actually that's what we do. When we do our workshops, we open the doors. So you can actually, we ask members to go and water it. So we water it while we do. We always go and see how it's growing. We want to actually put more things in there. We don't just want to have flags. We would like to maintain that green space and ask the community if they want to grow other things. And obviously we're also using what's already growing. As I say, we came in and we saw there's lots of nettles all of a sudden. I said, well, let's show them how you can get thread out of nettle. So that's what we're doing tomorrow.
So just as an aside, can you please talk to the manager of the Sunray Community CIC and check how that fits in with their lease agreements on the grounds? Because we need to make sure that you're not going to get told you can't do it because it's in breach of the lease of the community centre CIC.
Yeah, it was all done with the agreement. We didn't do anything on our own.
Wonderful.
It was all agreed. We asked for permission.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Councillor Kirsch, Andreas Kirsch. Yep.
Thank you, Chair, and thanks so much for bringing this to the committee tonight. I really like the idea, as that you plant the flax and then make it into linen and then using the looms for the weaving. So really, I love the idea. And I was just wondering, obviously, you said you previously have worked closely with Smallmead School,
yes.
And obviously now you would like to enhance and improve the project, which I really welcome. I was just wondering if it would be perhaps a possibility to get in touch with schools, other schools, primary schools in the area, if they, if you have days where they can, if they so wish, obviously, if their teachers are happy to come over with some children too, that they can, see the growing of the flax when it is in the season, and or how you do the weaving with the looms. So I think it would be lovely, if it's obviously for the workshops, but if schools would buy in, if you get in touch with them, if they would be happy to have a tour of what you guys are doing.
Absolutely. I mean, this has always been our aim, it's our goal, and it's our plan. What we've written this here, it says suitable for schools and community centres. From the start, this was a programme we've written for schools and community centres. So our aim is exactly that, to make sure that we can promote it to other schools, and we do harvest days. We're planning to do another one end of August or beginning of September to make sure we can invite heads of schools, and I'm also thinking that potentially Sunray Centre would be a lovely place to actually demonstrate and do a demos of how and why you do it, and invite heads of schools and or pupils. During summer holidays as well, we're planning to run activities and clubs for kids to come and see, how invite them and include them in the harvest, and that usually happens in July, August, to make sure that they experience that. We're also part of the Saxon Fair. Myself and Paul, we run already Saxon Textiles workshop for primary schools at Kingston Museum. It's part of the learning programme. Any school can book. At the moment, we've done several workshops for SEN. We all support special educational needs, so we make sure that we expand our programme all the time and cover these areas. So we're very much open to that. That's pretty much our statement, to make sure that schools, as many schools in Kingston and the borough, can benefit from this programme.
Brilliant, thank you so much. And from what you said, if I may, Chair, we will see you at the Saxon encampment at Asselstown on the 27th, 28th.
Yes.
Brilliant, thank you.
Councillor Bainan.
Thank you very much for all the work you're doing. Excuse me, sorry. You're looking to get, some of the money's going towards kind of flyers and posters to kind of encourage engagement. Do you have a strategy in place to encourage more people in the south of the borough in terms of how to kind of get the word out?
We, of course, we always do these, and we put posters, and we have social media channels. We actually directly engage with the south of the borough channels, as in the social media websites and also the WhatsApp groups. But we also believe in the personal contact, so we try and engage in the communication directly. We go to current groups, so we go to tea and chat groups already there. We have contacted and been invited by the youth club that already is currently in place at the centre to try and maybe to do a session for the children there on a Thursday. Obviously, being at the school already, the parents know of what we do, so we already have that contact. We are part of several parent chat groups and things like that. So we do like to have a personal conversation, and we believe that every time, every workshop we do, 1 or 2 people more come, then in the long term, it will build a stronger and bigger community. This is not a one-off workshop. We're trying to develop something that is going to grow and connect a stronger, bigger community. That's ultimately the goal. What we do, we build stronger communities and more sort of understanding and friendly, and people that sort of work on the sort of more personal but cross-cultural level where we learn from each other. You can't achieve this with one session. That's why I believe in sort of setting something that's got a very strong base. I'm not going to target something in one go, but I've been working with Sunray Community Centre for over 3 years. We've done quite a lot of workshops there before. This is not the first one. So they already know us, and we've done lots of community projects there.
Councillor Grocott?
So specifically, what are you going to use that £135 for then?
Were you talking about specifically
The grant that you're
the grant?
asking for, it's £135 for
For
flyers and
promotion.
posters.
Yeah, well, that's exactly coming for, let me just check. Sorry, I just want to check. This is probably spanning over the period from when we were looking at starting the project. So that was from now July to December. So we need to be looking at every workshop that we're trying to, the new ones with the weaving and stuff. We put out posters around the centre, and also we were told that we can potentially use the notice boards. We have printed, we have things like, they're becoming very successful, but so QR codes and things like that, where there's actually information. So these were now currently, while the flax is growing, that gives out anybody that's walking past QR code and takes you directly and tells you the story, and you can actually see it as it grows. So today we have flowers, so it creates interest. So we want to have few more banners like this on the outside, where on the street people can go and check. So this is only for the flags. We would like to invest in something that's more information on the outside, maybe near the school, or where maybe flax is not growing, but people will understand what's happening at the centre.
Thank you. Any other questions at all? Nope. Okay, lovely. Thank you very much. I have to say personally, I found it so interesting. It's not something I've come across, so really looking forward to coming and having a nosy around and have a look and see what's going on. So I think it's a great idea. Sorry? I said I'll come with you. Oh, right, okay. Councillor Kirsch will come with me. Thank you. Yeah, I think no amendments on this. So can I take that as unanimous, or does the committee wish to go to a vote? Thank you very much, Magdalena. Thank you.
Thank you.
No more questions. You already asked.
So we go on to our next community grant application for the Sunray Community Centre. We have Victoria Stewart-Todd, I think, is here tonight. Thank you very much. And I'll ask our Neighbourhood Manager, Richard Dean, once again, if he can see, to introduce the second applicant. Thank you.
I think it took about 3 years for Councillor Grocott to get me as short as this, and the only thing was bring the wrong glasses, wasn't it, really? So, so we've got Victoria, welcome, as part of the Director of Sunray Community Centre, CIC, and they've submitted a grant application for £2,715 to support the ongoing running of the Youth Club at the Sunray Community Centre, and that takes place on a Thursday evening between 7 and 8:30. The funding, if awarded by the committee, would permit this current collaborative arrangement with Achieving for Children to deliver the programme at the community centre for the remainder of this term and also 2 further academic terms, and also provide some ad hoc youth provision during school holidays. We know that the community centre in its current guise has taken off since being awarded the lease in February 2024. But more remarkable, I think, Chair, is the youth club has only been going in earnest since January 2025, and already has a regular cohort of 26 to 30 young people there. Regular activities include gaming, football, coach provided by colleagues in the Metropolitan Police, I understand, pool, table tennis, table football, and various other activities that are planned with, importantly, with the youth that use to participate, and AFC staff. And the funding, if granted, would allow this to continue. Now, as we know, historically, we've been quite short on some youth provision within the Sunray. And it seems to me sometimes there's only one thing that we forget, and it's almost worse sometimes delivering something and then taking it away than never delivering it in the first place. So that's why the grant application is here in front of you today, Chair, with Table 2 showing the costs shared with the grant applicant and AFC. The application supports the fairer priority within the current South of the Borough Neighbourhood Community Plan, and the outcome linked to the priority, namely the committee will encourage community grant and NSIL applicants to promote supporting local communities, improving youth provision and enhancing mental health and mental well-being. And I think it fits within that remit of the community plan. I've reached the bit where I can't read again, so I'll be quiet and let a professional talk, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. I'd like to invite any members of the public who have any comments to make for discussion. No? Okay, thank you. So I will now move from the Chair the following recommendation: that the application for £2,715 of Neighbourhood Community Grant funding from the Sunray Community Centre, CIC, as set out in paragraphs 13 and 19 of the report be approved. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Cash, thank you. Would members of the committee who wish to speak, raise your hand. Councillor Grocott. Lovely, if you'd like to go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Victoria. I just want to start off by saying thank you for all the work that you and your colleagues have done in getting this off the ground. I know that when you did a survey of the community some while ago, provision for the youth, especially on the Sunray, was one of the really strong factors that came out. So it's great that you and your colleagues have been able to work with AFC and provide this, and the local police, and getting them involved in doing the football. And I know from visiting you on several occasions and the youth group on Thursday that it's really well attended. And it works really well with the one that's held in Chessington. I think there's kind of like a natural divide about the age group, so it's not in conflict with that either. So I'm wholeheartedly in support of this, and I think it's great and well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else with any questions at all? Ooh, okay. Can I take that as a unanimous decision? Yeah, agreed? Agreed. Lovely. Thank you very much. It was easy.
Wow. Okay.
Well done.
Thanks very much.
talk on road runs?
No, it's on the road runs.
You want to talk on road runs? I'll call you.
Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is the Roadrunners Avenue area proposed 3.5 tonne weight restriction report, which you can find at Appendix C. I'm going to ask Eunice, who's here to introduce himself and to present the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Yunus Hamadi. I'm Principal Engineer. I represent the Highway Department. I came to this committee some time ago when we thought of introducing yellow line in road runs, and at that time there had been objection, and the committee felt the yellow line is not the answer to the problem. Therefore, they agreed to discuss with the ward member and officer and develop a scheme and consult the resident and bring the result back to this committee. What members you have in front of you now, it is a result of that. I've met that chair and the ward members, and we discussed the issue on road runs, and we come up with a scheme which is to introduce 3.5 tonne between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. Monday till Saturday, as the issue which has been identified, which is parking by businesses with vehicle above 3.5 tonne in Roadrunners Avenue. So the reason why we come with the scheme is to address these issues and for this vehicle to park within the business car park. So we send 222 letters. We receive 50 back, which is 22%. We have 36 out of the 50, they support the scheme, 72%. And we have 10 who against the scheme, they do not support the scheme, is 20%. And we have 4, which they don't know, is about 8%. So as you can see in the report, we have all the objection and we have the comment. So therefore, based on the report we have in front of you, I'm asking members to approve the scheme for approval. Then we can go for the publication of the draft traffic management order. Then if there is objection, I'll bring the objection back to this committee, which most likely there is, because if some people are against the scheme, then they will be objecting to the scheme. So hence, members, they can make another look to the comment received, then they can make the final decision to make the order or to drop the decision or the scheme completely. I'm happy to take any question, Chair.
Thank you, Eunice. Can I ask Mr. Chick of Roadrunners Avenue to come to the front, because I know he's asked to speak. I know you wish to address the committee. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. So I've been here before and I've addressed all of you and I've raised some of the frustrations that we've got, but just to run through it again, there's a company called Jackson's that are based in Cox Lane, just 5-10 minutes walk from Roadrunners Avenue. They are exclusively the problem. There's only their vans that cause this issue. Minimum of 2 every day on the street, sometimes it's 3, it's 4. Trying to engage with the drivers has led to threats, harassment, and most recently physical, fights. They've assaulted one of my neighbours a couple of times. I've tried to engage with their head office. There was a guy called Paul Woodbridge. He's just as dismissive and unhelpful. Clearly, they're not going to do anything here. The road is just not big enough to support vehicles of this size, parking down there on any regularity. I've seen fire engines stopped from passing. I've seen other deliveries having to be aborted for a building project that is inevitably going to be a cost to the resident. The drivers don't live there. They just park it down there because it's easy for them and they don't really care about the impact. I think introducing this scheme is going to be the most likely way to solve this. It's not going to impact any of the residents. No one owns a vehicle that big. It won't impact any of the other local communities. Vehicles can still park there. Yes, parking's a ball ache, for want of a better term, but show me a road that isn't like that. I think this is the only solution to this problem. My concerns are, this sounds like we've been through a consultation to then start a new consultation. I don't really understand the logic of that. Why can't we just introduce it? I want to know what the enforcement process will be. There are some existing restrictions on Rodlands Avenue. They are not enforced whatsoever. I would like to know when it is actually going to be introduced. This has been banging on for 3 years. I don't understand why it takes this long. Personally, I don't think their right to park there is more important than my right not to receive emergency support services. You know, if there's a fire, tough tits, you can't get there because some guys parked inconsiderately on a corner and blocked access. It's a residential street. Kids walk up and down there. They can't see roads that are coming. You pull out from your driveway to try and get onto the road. Again, you can't see what's coming. I think this is pretty much black and white, and I don't understand why it's gone on for so long. So I'd like to understand more around this process, because it just feels like we've wasted a year at this point.
Could you come back, Eunice? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I think for this scheme, first, there is 2 phases. Phase 1, which is now, members, they need to make a decision if they support the scheme and approve the scheme. Then after that, in order for us to enforce the scheme and issue fine for the people who park above that, we have to go through the legal statutory regulation, which is we need to publish in the local newspapers and in the street and London Gazette, Kingston Council, it intend to make traffic management order, which is the introduction of 3.5 ton restriction on these roads. Then after that, we give the resident 3 weeks. Everybody can object to that. It's not only the resident. Why don't we do that now, though?
Because we've asked them to give their feedback and object to it.
No,
I sat at this council and I put this all to all of you. No one objected to it.
Can you let Eunice answer the question?
This is a process to any introduction of yellow line, CPZ, any new restriction we need to introduce in the council. We have to back it up with the traffic management order in order to make it legal, in order to be able to push it toward enforcement. I cannot introduce it before this meeting till the committee approve the scheme. Unless the committee approve the scheme, I cannot proceed with it. So therefore, that is the procedures to do it. So if there is no objection, we can go straight into making the traffic management order and arrange for signage to be put up. Then the enforcement, we will have enforcement, but the beginning usually will have a bit of heavy enforcement to making sure people are aware there is enforcement as taking place. Then after that, it becomes rota. So I don't have all this information with me. I need to seek it from the parking department and the contractor who does enforce that. So, but first we need to get one bit at a time in order to be able to put the scheme on the ground. So that is the process how we introduce any scheme in terms of yellow line or CPZ or any restriction we put on the highway in order to be able to enforce it.
My question was, why have we gone through 2 consultation periods? We could still do the consultation period that you're talking about, but we seem to have duplicated that process. There was none of that process previously when you were trying to introduce yellow lines. That was an entirely different process.
Councillor Grocott, would you like to come in?
Yeah, can I just answer that point specifically? Because I recall we originally brought a proposal to have double yellow lines as the solution.
Can I clarify?
And no, you need to let me finish first and then you can speak.
Mr. Rogg, please.
So we had a proposal originally when it first came to have double yellow lines, and then that was deemed not the answer that residents like yourself wanted, because that wasn't what you'd come for. That wasn't a solution that you felt was appropriate. So the outcome that I put forward as chair at that time was that Lorraine and her colleagues go away, speak to you and the other local residents that were particularly involved, and find out what the solution was instead, which is the consultation that she and her colleagues did about looking at, okay, so what, if we're not going to do double yellow lines, that's not the solution that people want. And that consultation came up with the 3.5 tonne. And then, as Eunice said, the really important point is, unless we do the TMO legal side, we can't do the fines, we can't do the enforcement. So then it's not going to solve anything for you, because they will still be able to park there, and we won't be able to do anything to support you for them not to park there unless we do the TMO. If we'd done the TMO without consulting everyone to find out whether the 3.5 tonne was the best solution that everyone wanted, then we might have done something that wasn't what was wanted, because we were originally going to do double yellow lines. So I can understand it feels like we're kind of doubling up the consultation process, but one was finding out what the solution was, and then this is the legal side that we have to do. Otherwise, we can't do any enforcement. So it's a waste of everyone's time.
So this solution of 3.5 tonnes was presented by me to Steph Archer. That was the solution. That was put forward to the planning team, I assume, Eunice, and then it came back with, let's just put double yellow lines everywhere. You had the opportunity. You didn't listen to residents then. 3 years ago, in that time, I've been threatened by their drivers. My neighbour's been assaulted twice, 3 times actually, and we're no further along. This official process, fine, yeah, okay, I want to make it watertight, but what's this bit in the middle that we're just collecting opinions for the sake of it, and then we still got to go out and collect more opinions? The solution was there with all the relevant backup that I presented. It's all in writing. It's the same, exactly the same proposal, yet 3 years later. So that's the frustration. The last time I spoke at this committee, I cautioned everybody about the escalation and my concerns about my neighbours, myself, someone else getting assaulted. Not, what, 2 weeks later, I emailed you, Lorraine? Someone got assaulted. Like, why is there no urgency about this? I think this is very black and white. This is not no parking for everybody.
Councillor Kirsch, did you want to come in? Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate your frustration, but I think at the moment, rather, I would take it in a positive light. This is now for hopefully solution which will work for us at the committee, with the caveat that we haven't made a decision. If we make the decision, then there will be the statutory consultation. But I appreciate you think it's why are you doing it again? It's 2 different sets of consultation. What we needed to do first, that it can come to the committee, was asking the local residents what they think about the scheme. We've done that. We got objections. We will make a decision on it after we finish the conversation here. We will debate it and make a decision on it. If our decision is, yes, we think we should introduce it, then the statutory consultation is not asking all the same residents again. It will be published via media channels to everybody in the borough, or people just passing through Kingston, so everybody then could raise the objections. A different kind of. It's not doubling up. It's step by step. The first step is asking the local residents, then coming to the committee, making the decision. If the decision is yes, we want to do it, then legally, otherwise we can't enforce. We need to do that sort of formal consultation with everybody who might object. And if they say, if there are no objections, we can instantly go ahead with it. If there would be suggestion, it would come back to the next committee in July, where we then could say, okay, we set the objections aside. Thanks for receiving the objections, but we need to have that debate. So I appreciate the frustration, but obviously, I can't predict how we will vote on this, but if it would be a positive vote today, then coming to the final, implementation of this is relatively, given that you waited for quite a long time, shortly. So I hope you will bear with us.
Okay.
Eunice, did you want to come in?
Thank you, Chair. I think all I was going to say is the response rate is not really high. So we have only 22%. So my experience in different areas, some committee, they do not approve the scheme for such response rate. They may say there's not strong support. So therefore, I cannot go straight with anything without the committee decision. So therefore, what I have in front of me here is 50 out of 225 response. So from our experience, if all the people are really concerned about that, the majority will reply. So therefore, bring it here, members, they can make the decision and feel, are we happy with only 22% of the residents did reply? Are we happy with the outcome? And even with that, I have only 36 said yes and 14 saying no and I don't know. So it's not a straightforward answer, I'm afraid. So therefore, they need to think about all the residents as well and make the decision. And as the leader said, that is the process we need to follow. However, if the chair and members would like to dedicate the decision to the director of highways, discussion with the chair and the ward member, any objection received could be discussed and decide on it. then that will save me bringing the report back to this committee for discussion. But it's your call if you want to have this amendment. Some members, they don't like that. They prefer to discuss all the objection in public forum, but that option is available for you if you wish to take that option.
Thank you, Eunice. Thank you very much, Mr. Chick. Thank you. Mr. Robb, I understand you want to a question.
I've got to say, it's Matthew Hill and our Highways Department that is out of is not connected with what's happening in our part of the borough. You don't understand the situation because the yellow lines is a different issue. That's a safety issue on a corner, a very tight corner, which you haven't addressed. You don't need signatures from residents. If you go round there and actually see it, every day you come round the corner, you're forced into oncoming traffic coming the other way. That's a totally different issue. So it just shows you don't know what you're voting on half the time. Now, we support this totally, but you're going to have another Tolworth Road situation here, right? Because you'll solve it in Rodrins Avenue. We've got it everywhere in the south of the borough. You go down any of our roads, it's like we've got builders' lorries. We've got a new chap moved into Bolton Road. He runs a property management service. He's got 4 vans, right, which are now parked in our roads. We need this as a TMO for the south of the borough community. So we totally support the Rodrins Avenue, and you're never going to get people. I'm sorry, you just don't understand what's going on. That's why I've asked for a meeting with Matthew Hill, because we've got so many issues in this area with traffic concerns, and you don't address them.
Mr. Robb, we're just talking about Rodrins Avenue right this moment, so not the neighbourhood. Thank you.
And with Rodrins Avenue, I'm sorry, you're talking down to us because we know all about TMOs and everything else and the process, right? But all I can say is that CDRA totally support the Rodrins Avenue people, and it's a major issue in the south. So I've got problems in my throat at the moment. We've got a major issue with commercial vehicles parking in our roads. So it's got to be addressed, and it's about time the Highways Department did something about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robb. Mr. Parsley, would you like to come forward? Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you to Eunice for his introduction. It's made it a little bit clearer as to what the proposal was, because when I read the recommendation, I think it could be firmed up potentially by calling this a 3.5-tonne weighting restriction proposal as opposed to an environmental weight limit, because the report seems a little bit confused, because one of the officer comments was the primary objective is to eliminate the use of these roads as a through route for vehicles, thereby improving safety and amenity. But all I've heard tonight is it's about a waiting parking issue. So perhaps could I just ask perhaps that the recommendation is tightened up so there's no confusion. And the only other concern as a resident of Moor Lane is, well, we all know what CPZs do and everything in terms of displacement. So I just wonder whether, when there is a statutory consultation, that perhaps some thought is given to of course, the core roads, but also people on the periphery, because I'd hate 6 months down the line, you've got your restrictions in, and you've got another group of residents asking, oh, we've got the same problems with this company. And yeah, it just seems a bit of a, such a small local problem can't be sorted ideally, but that's my only point.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Eunice, did you want to add anything at all?
Thank you. I think that to answer the point, yes, it's about the waiting. It's not going through. So that is the idea to stop, as the gentleman outlined earlier, is about the parking issue, which a very big vehicle park, instead of parking in their own premises, people parking on this residential road. And that is what you are approving tonight, which is the waiting, not above anything above 3.4 cannot wait park or on this 3 road, because I need to make it clear. It's not about only road runs, because there is a map, and that map clearly it shows about road runs, Sherborne and Moorfield and Middleway. So this is the area where, and I can understand Mr. Parsons' point of view. Yes, there is a possibility it may have displacement. It's like any other issue we have in the borough. So therefore, we need to review it and we need to monitor it. And if that's happening, then after that, after 1 year, we can do a survey to the surrounding road and bring results back to this committee to see what happened in their road. Did that any implication, or do they want us to do anything in their road or not? So if members want that, I'm happy to say in that recommendation to add, we can consult or review the situation and the surrounding road and bring a report after 1 year to this committee for consideration.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll come to members in a minute, if that's all right. So I will now move this from the chair. The recommendations at the front of the report on page C1. The committee is asked to resolve that, subject to necessary statutory consultation, a 3.5 tonne weight restriction be implemented in Rodrens Avenue, Moorfield Road, Sherborne Road and Meadow Way, as shown in Annex 1. Operating from Monday to Saturday, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m, except for access. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Bainan, thank you. Would members of the committee who wish to speak, please raise your hands. Yep, Councillor Bainan. Anyone else? Oh, Councillor Bainan, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Just on, Eunice mentioned about potential for not necessarily having to bring this back to a further committee, you know, once we've had the responses, and kind of liaising with the chair to kind of address any objections from the TMO. Is that that's what you mentioned? Something about, yeah, sorry.
Sorry, I did say yes. Some members, if they don't want me to bring any objection to this committee and to wait to bring to the next committee meeting, because there is a sawal and all of it, they are happy to give delegated power to the director of the highways in discussion with the chair and vice chair and ward members to consider all the objections received, then make a decision if they want to proceed with making the TMO, or they felt the objection received, they preferred to go back to a public forum and for all of you to debate it here and make that decision.
Well, yeah, on that, I mean, I don't know if we need to decide now, but I think given the time that's passed, I think I'd be quite happy for us to do that, to avoid any further delays where we can. I don't know what everyone else thinks, and whether we need to make that decision now.
To have to propose it as an amendment.
Okay, well, I will propose it as an amendment. Then, yes, what Eunice suggested we might want to do. Can we put that as an amendment? And can I guess I need a seconder, please.
Is somebody going to second that? Councillor Grocott. Thank you. Did you want to add anything onto that, Councillor Grocott, at all, or are you just happy with that?
No, I wanted to say the same thing, actually, so you can see Mark and I work well together. I think in light of your comments and the frustration that is felt in terms of the due process, but I can understand that it feels like to kind of bring it back again, and because of the summer recess, that might even have to be after the summer. I would really want to avoid that, so I would support what Eunice suggested and second the amendment.
Thank you. Okay, so can we have a vote on that amendment then, please? All in favour? Yep.
Just on a procedural point, I think we, as the amendment only basically works if we have a positive decision, we need to make the decision first and then the amendment in theory.
Thank you. Okay.
In case we would say no to it, then there would be no delegated power.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Okay. So bear with me for a moment. So I'm going to propose another amendment as well, that this is brought back, and there's a review on this report after 1 year, and it'll be brought back to committee. Yeah, okay, can I have a seconder on that one?
On that.
Yes, certainly.
Can I say most a year? I don't know. I mean, if there is big problems, I don't want any further delays. I mean, a year sounds like reasonable, but do we have to? Yeah, if there are lots of frustrations, if this kind of gets spread somewhere else, and then there's other issues, and we've heard about some of the behaviour. No, you don't like that. You can't say. Could we say at most a year? And if there are other concerns, where we're getting some of the behaviours that have happened, if they are spread somewhere else, we want to be as nimble as we can. I just don't want to restrict ourselves. I don't know.
Sorry, Chair. I think I'm saying 1 year, and I've been generous here because I have only 2 people work for me for full neighbourhood. So really, I cannot operate. So we don't have the resources to come back to you before 1 year. And that's why I'm saying 1 year with the current resources we have. So we need first implement the scheme. Then after that, we need to review it, monitor it, let it to settle down so we can have better feeling of what's happening. So I guess 1 year, it is reasonable and it is the best we can do, I'm afraid.
Okay. So I'm going to propose that further amendment to bring the report back after a year to review. Can I have that seconded, please? Thank you, Councillor Kirsch. Right, so let me just sort this bit out. So, Okay, so I think I've got this. The committee is asked to resolve that, subject to necessary statutory consultation, a 3.5 tonne weight restriction to be implemented in Roadlands Avenue, Moorfield Road, Sherborne Road and Meadow Way, operating from Monday to Saturday 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. except for access, and 2, delegate the power to the Director of Highways in consultation with the Chair, Vice Chair and Ward members to discuss the objections received, to decide if we can make the TMO and bring back to the review the surrounding areas, and we will bring the decision back to the next committee meeting. Are we happy with that? Yes? Councillor Grocott.
Sorry, bring the decision back, not to make the decision.
Sorry, yeah, bring the decision
that was made outside of this meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Can I have a seconder? Yes. Thank you, Councillor Kirsch. All right, lovely. So, can I take that as a unanimous decision? Agreed. Thank you very much, committee. So we'll go to item 10. The next item on the agenda is urgent items authorised by the Chair. There are no urgent items. There being no further business, the meeting is now closed at 8:44. Thank you to those here tonight and those watching online stream. Thank you.